Welcome back, everyone. We are ready to roll up our sleeves, and we're hoping you are as well. Our first stop will be exploring the role of tooling within your operations. First, a quick recap. Okay, so we've covered who Mathias Die Company is, and you've agreed to joining us on this journey because your converting operations can be better, including your margins, your converting efficiencies, and the quality of the product you are delivering to your customers. First, we're going to bring you up to speed with the tooling options available to you today. For flatbed cutting applications, the steel rule die remains the go-to technology for most applications. Every flatbed tooling option has its benefits and limitations. Most important, there is a place in your process for the right solution. We don't expect you will leave this episode having all the tooling knowledge necessary to make the best tooling choices. Let us help you. It's our core competency. Having this general tooling knowledge will allow you to participate in the process of making sure you secure more business. There are many options today for converting your parts. If you've begun your homework before watching this, you may already know whether you're working with a supplier that is supporting you with this decision. With each application you win, you have important choices to make. Will you fabricate using tooling or tool-less options? Will you flatbed die cut, rotary die cut? Will it be sheet fed or web fed? If you decide to utilize tooling and your supplier does not offer the full breadth of tooling options, you are at risk of not competing for the business or delivering the best products to your customers. Did you know the average die maker today is not focused on constructing dies to cut parts to meet print specification? They are building commonly assembled dies to a comfortable die tolerance. If you find that your die supplier is producing commonly assembled dies, you're gambling your time, material costs, and company resources each time you place an order for a die. Let's see if we can put this into perspective for you. We're now going to explore the role tooling plays within your company. We are going to begin with a short exercise. We provided each of you with a paper version of this quick quiz in your preparation packets. Please go ahead and complete each sentence with one of the multiple choice answers: essential, important, or nice. What role do cutting dies play in your converting efficiencies? What role do cutting dies play in the aesthetic quality of finished parts? What role do cutting dies play in the tolerance of finished cut parts? And what role do cutting dies play in the profitability of your converting operations? The answer is essential. So how is the word essential defined in the dictionary? That which is the very essence or constitution of a thing. In this case, the thing is your converting process. In other words, the tooling you use is the backbone to the success of your converting operations. When it comes to differentiating the cost of tooling versus the price of tooling, these first four essential components expose the impact tooling has to the success of your converting operations. Now, for those of you that may have come up a little short on the paper quiz, here's your opportunity for some extra credit, the bonus question. Do cutting dies play an essential role in securing repeat customers? While contemplating your answer, I want to give you a hint. If any of the four prior go upside down, have you placed your company's brand and your customer at risk? The answer is without a doubt. Tooling is essential to securing repeat customers. We all know our customers have options if we cannot meet their expectations. If the competition stumbles into your client and finds out one of your products could be better, is there a reason to be concerned? Of course. If tooling has an essential impact on these four components, then it most certainly impacts securing repeat customers. The downstream customer to your converting process is your paying customer. There is no room for error. The converting process needs to be as good as it can be. I recently met with the owner of a membrane switch and graphic overlay company. We have been building tooling for him for about 15 years. He told me that over the past couple of years, they've been ordering more steel rule dies from a local die-making source due to pricing pressures from the sales team, market pressures in general, and to save money on shipping costs. But he assured me they will not consider sending anything complex or important to this supplier. He had to cut the conversation short because he was late for a meeting. but he wanted to discuss a couple of other things before I left that day, so he asked if I would spend a half hour or so with his lead out in their die cutting finishing area to check on how things were going for them. I had spent time with Tom, the lead, before, and his feedback has always been positive. As we normally do, we reviewed several die cutting issues that he had been challenged with recently, and together were able to resolve all of them. I asked him how it was going since more of his dies are coming from a local source. He confirmed that they had been working with another supplier's dies. Then he opened up with me about the pains this has caused for him and his department. He went on to explain, when using the local source's dies, the quality of the finished parts are not near as good, and the time to set up the dies are considerably longer. Their dies take a lot more work to keep them cutting throughout a run, and they require more of his time tending to other operators' challenges as a result. I asked him if he had taken his concerns to his boss. He let me know, and I'm paraphrasing, he had bitched and moaned, but because he didn't have the skill set to put together the metrics to support his concerns, his issues would remain less important than other more pressing issues that his boss was facing. He then said, "I can tell you this much, they ain't saving any money on dies if that's what they're trying to do." I asked him if I could share this information with the owner before I left that day. He was a little nervous because he didn't want to ruffle feathers, but said to go ahead, but don't frame him as a complainer. I shared his story with the owner, and as you would expect from any owner, his action was immediate and sweeping. If you're wondering what happened next, with the help of the owner and the department lead, it was determined the cost of utilizing an inferior supplier for an essential component added up to more than 3 times what they were saving on their tooling spend. In this case, the added cost didn't exceed their company's total annual spend, thankfully. Once the details were collected and verified, they quickly recognized how this change in spend had negatively impacted their organization. This story is not unusual. We often hear that the staff using the tooling in production are not involved in the decision being made by the people controlling the die spend. Here is what we and they learned. Efforts to save dollars on tooling push significantly higher costs to a downstream customer in their operation. We all need to identify and monitor essential components to our operations' success. Suppliers that make an effort to participate in the success of the manufacturing process are priceless. Listen carefully to the frustrated employee. Between the bitch and the moan lie the pains that need to be addressed if you want to see improvement. All of us have staff in positions that are tasked with managing essential but insignificant spends. Without your direction, your tooling spend will eventually find its way to a price or convenience-driven decision. This story not only exposes the difference between cost and price, but embodies the challenge all of us suppliers face when bringing value add into the sales conversation. Their takeaway? Remove tooling price from the narrative and replace it with ROI by utilizing only the suppliers that participate in your company's most important objectives: growth, margins, and improvement. Here's your homework for episode number 3, budgeting for tooling expense. First, collect your annual die spend and the number of dies you have purchased over the past 2 years. Divide the die spend by the number of dies purchased to calculate your average die price, and calculate or estimate your cost to collect or create estimates for steel rule dies. Please have this information readily available for our next and very engaging episode, Budgeting for Tooling Expense. Thank you for your time, leaders.